Right, so here we go with last summer's paper, June 14. As you can see, the grade boundaries were quite low, and you only needed to get at least 57 in order to get a grade C. Write down in figures the number 3,411,002. So start with the units 2. There's no tens, there's no hundreds. There's 11,000, 400,000 and 3 million. So 3,411,002. Write down in words that number, so it's 5, 65, no hundreds, 2,065, 72,065. Using the following list of numbers, remember you can only pick numbers that are in that list. Write down two numbers that add to give 80, so their units need to add up to give a 10. So 7 and 3 add up, so 17 and 53, but that doesn't add up to 80. But then we've got a 17 and a 63, which does. Write down the number that is the difference between 67 and 28. So basically what you're doing is taking 28 away from 17, which you can do in your head or by paper, and we get 9, 39, 39's in the list, it's 39. Multiple of 7, which means one of those numbers must be in the 7 times table, and it is 63. 7 9s are 63. The answer when 48 is divided by 8, well, when you divide 48 by 8 you get 6. 6 8s are 48. And the square of 9 is 9 times 9, which is 81, which is in the list. Write down a factor of 96, which is between 10 and 20. Well, 96, what goes into 96 exactly is 12. So it's 12. Twelve 8s are 96. Right, 6571, correct to the nearest 10. So the 10 column is the 7. So it's either going to be 6,570 or 6,580, because it's 1, it's nearer to 6570. To the nearest 100, which is the 5, it's either going to be 6,500 or 6,600. Because it's 71, it's nearer to 600. Each of the digits 5, 2, 6 and 7 is used once to make a 4-digit number. What is the largest number that can be made? So for the largest number you want the biggest digit to be in the thousands column, then the next biggest to be in the hundreds column, then the next biggest to be in the tens, and the smallest to be in the units. So the smallest number that you could make, you would reverse that. So the smallest number would be 2, 5, 6, 7. So for the even number, you need to have an even digit there, so you would swap those two around. So you have 2, 5, 7, 6. 0.2 times 0.3, so you do 2 times 3, which is 6, and then there are 2 digits that are after the decimal point. So that means this will be 2 digits after the decimal point. So it would be 0.06. 6.2 take away 3.28. If there's no value there, we put a 0 there. We can't take 8 from 0, so we have to borrow from the next one across. So then we do 8 from 10, which is 2. We can't take 2 from 1, So we borrow to make it 11. 2 from 11 is 9, 3 from 5 is 2. Keyword here is estimate, so you're not going to work it out. You're going to round 2.9 to 3, and you're going to round 98.2 to 100, so your estimate is going to be around about 300. Okay, marks for those two questions. This is pretty much one per question. As is this one. And for here, you're going to have one for the correct number that you're estimating and one for your answer. Okay, quality. So this one's going to have 2 marks for how you explain what you're doing. A window cleaner takes 15 minutes to clean each window in a large building. He charges using the following formulae. So it's a formulae question. Payment is £8 times number of hours worked plus call-out charge. Calculate the payment for cleaning 20 windows when the call-out charge is £12. So we've got the call-out charge. We need to know the number of hours worked. And if it takes him 15 minutes to clean a window, and there are 20 windows, the number of windows he can clean in an hour is going to be 4 windows. 1 1/4 of an hour, so 4 windows in an hour. So he will take, so if he can do 4 windows in an hour and he's cleaning 20 windows, 20 divided by 4 is 5 hours to clean all windows. So in our formula, so payment will be 8 times the number of hours, which is 5, plus the call out charge, which is 12, which is 40 plus 12, which is 52. So he will charge £52. Alright, so all you need to do there as far as the communication is put small little explanations like that. It's not expecting a huge amount of written work really. So you're going to have, as far as the maths is concerned, 2 marks for working out that he's going to need 5 hours, 2 marks for working out the payment of £52, and then 2 communication marks for how you set it out and how you explain it. Question 4. Choose the best word from those given below to describe the chance of each of the following events occurring. You get an odd number when the following spinner is spun once. So if you look at the numbers on that spinner, they are all odd, so it's going to be certain that you're going to get an odd number. You win a raffle when 200 tickets are sold and you have bought 1. So you've got a 1 in 200 chance of winning. So it's not impossible, it's unlikely. And you get an even number when a fair dice is rolled once. Well, there's the same number of odd and even numbers on a dice, so the chances are even. So 1 mark for each of those. Question 6. Write down the next term in each of the following sequences. So you don't have to worry about nth terms, you're just going to work out what the next one is. And if you look at what's happening, this one is going up. Add 6, add 6, add 6. So we're going to add 6 to 33 and get 39. And for the next one, we are going down in 6s. Sorry, that's going down by 6. This one's going down by 5. This one's going down by 4. So we're expecting this one to go down by 3. So the next number in the sequence will be 43. Sorry. no, it would be 44. Sorry, 47. Take away 3 is 44. Describe in words the rule for continuing the next sequence. So it isn't going down. There's a much bigger gap between there and there than there and there, and so on. What's happening is that the previous number is being divided by 4. 48 divided by 4 is 12. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 divided by 4 is 3 over 4. So you are going to be divide previous number by 4. Find the value of p equals 3a plus 4b, take 6c, when a is 2, b is 3, and c is negative 1. So when we replace the letter with a number, we have to introduce the times. So 3a is going to be 3 times 2 plus 4 times 3, and then take 6 times negative 1. We do the multiplying first, so 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 3 is 12. Now here we've got two negative numbers. When you multiply and the signs are the same, the answer becomes plus, and 6 times 1 is 6. So we get 6 and 12 is 18, and 6 is 24. Here we're simplifying. There's only one letter, which is x. 5x add 2x will give you 7x. 7x take off 3x will give you 4x. So marks for that. Question 5. 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark for substituting in, 1 mark for your answer, 1 mark. Question 6. Two rectangles, each 9 by 3, an overlapping rectangle, 8 by 3, are placed to make the H shape shown in the diagram. So we've got that rectangle there, which is 9 by 3, that rectangle, which is 9 by 3, and this rectangle, which is 8 by 3. So the perimeter of the shape, I've got to go from there all the way around and back again. So I know that side is 9, I know that side is 3. Now I know that that is 3 because it tells me there. I know that that is 3 and that is 3, so that's 6, and it's 8 all the way across. So this gap here is 2. Then I'm back down here 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. Hang on, I'm lost. 9, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3. This rectangle is 8 by 3, so that's 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3 plus 3. Right, let's check that I've included all of those. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 different bits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I've missed one out. Great. 9, 3, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. I've missed that one out there. 3, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so I've got 14 there now, so it's going to be 9, 12, 15, 17, 20, 23, 26, 29, 32, 35, 38, 40, 46. Which is correct. And the units, not asking for them, but it may one day, so get used to it. Units of perimeter is distance, so it's centimeters. Now, in order to work out the area of the shape, what we have is 3 rectangles. I've got that rectangle there, which I'll call A. I got this rectangle here, which I'll call B, and I got this rectangle here, which I'll call C. So the area of A will be, so that's a 9 by 3, which is 27. Area of B, so that's 2 by 3, which is 6. And area of C is again a 9 by 3. So 27 and 27 is 54, add 6 is 60, and this one you need to state the units, and they'll be centimeters squared. So the marks for that page, or for that question, question 6, you'll have 1 for working out the missing sides, 1 for your method of perimeter, 1 for your answer, and for this one you'll have 1 for the perimeter, the areas, 1 for your method, 1 for 60, and 1 for stating the units. Question 7, so we're going to plot points. The first one is always across the x-axis, and the second one is always up and down the y-axis. So -4 on the x-axis is there, +2 is there, and as I've said to you, mark it with a cross and write the letter next to it, not over it. B is -1, -5, which is there, and C is +4, +3. There. Okay, so we've got to complete an accurate drawing of triangle X, Y, Z, in which Y, Z is 10. Now, as with the other ones, because I've reduced the size of this, that isn't 10, but when you sit in the exam, that will be 10. X, Y, Z is 62, and X, Z, Y is 47. So what I've suggested to you in class is you do a little sketch before you start about what you think this is going to look like. So we'll just do that up here. So there is our Y, Z. So the missing point is X, so X is going to be up here somewhere. Angle XYZ is 62 degrees. So the letter in the middle is where the angle is being formed. So that's Y. 62 I know is more than 45 and less than 90. So it's a steepish angle. So it's going to look something like that. And then XZY is 47. 47 is a less steep angle. So that is 47. So that's the sort of thing I'm looking at. So if I get anything that doesn't look like that, then it's possible that I've used my protractor wrong. So 62 degrees, first of all. You put the center of your protractor on Y, and you line up the 0 with your line that's been drawn for you. You can see that the scale starts at 0 and it goes 10, 20 on the inside, the blue circle, and we've got to go up to 62 degrees. So there's 60, so 62 is 2 little squares further on from there, and we don't know how far up there it's going, so we just draw the line up the page. Then we've got to draw 47 on the other side, so the center is going there, but 0 needs to be turned around now, so it's still on that line. So the 0 goes like that. So now we're counting around the outside scale to 62 degrees, no sorry, 47 degrees, 40, 45, 2 more on. So that's 62 degrees, 47 degrees, and that where those cross is X. Alright, and you do that, you don't have to worry about rubbing out the line, as long as it's clear that where it's crossing, that's where your X is. And the special name given to an angle which is more than 90, less than 180, I'm hoping you know that by now, is obtuse. So for that question, or that 2 questions, there's 1 mark for each of those plotted correctly. There's 1 mark for obtuse, and you've got 1 mark for each of the angles and 1 mark for making a triangle out of it. A rectangular tank has length 20 centimeters, width 15 and a height of 10. Water is poured into the tank until it is half full. Calculate the volume of the water in litres. Well, the first thing is to calculate the volume of the water. You should be able to remember that volume is of a cube, or a cuboid is length times width times height, or length times depth times width, however you want to remember it. But we're not going to do 20 times 15 times 10 because the water isn't up to the top. It's half full, so it's going to be 5 centimeters. So the sum that we're going to do is volume is going to be 20 times 15 times 5. And you're going to do this without a calculator, remember? So what we've got is 5 lots of 20 is 100 times 15, which is 1500. And the units for that are centimeters cubed. Now, they've made it more difficult for you because they're telling you that the volume is in litres, and you need to know that 1 litre is 1000 cubic centimeters. So to turn that into litres, you divide by 1000, which is 1.5 litres. So for that question, you are going to get 1 mark for the volume method, even if you end up multiplying by 10. You're going to get an answer mark for the 1500. You're going to get the method of dividing by 1000 and an answer for that. So even if you can work that out, you should have been able to get 2 out of the 4 for working out the volume. Then we've got a table question, which you don't like. Table shows typical ranges for fares and journey times for London taxis. So first thing I always tell you with a table, pick a square and make sure you understand what it's telling you. So let's work with this one here. This is telling you that if you're grabbing a taxi between 6 o'clock in the morning and 8 o'clock in a weekday, and you are travelling for up to 2 miles or between 10 and 20 minutes, then you can expect a fare of between £8.40 and £13.40. They give us an example. A journey of 5 miles at midnight would cost between £28 and £32 depending on the length of time of the journey. So 5 miles at midnight, so every night, midnight is between 10 and 6, so it's tariff 3, and 5 miles up to 5 miles means you're going above 4, so it's that one, and it's going to cost you between £28 and £32. Use the table to answer the following questions. Peter hires a taxi on a Thursday at 10:25 AM for a journey of 2 miles. So it's a weekday, and it's between 6 and 8, and he's going for a journey of 2 miles. So that's actually the one that I picked to try and work out what it was doing. So it's going to be between £8.40 and £13.40. Sorry, least amount charged £8.40. Earliest time what is the least amount he should be charged, and what would be the earliest time he would get there. So if he's leaving at 10:25, the earliest time is 10 minutes, so that would be 10:35. So £8.40, 10:35 AM. And then there's more. Joanna and her 4 friends are out together on a Friday at 23:30 PM. They're staying at the same hotel, which is about 3.5 miles away. They could hire a taxi, or they could buy tickets on the underground tube costing £4 each. For the 5 friends, explain how it is possible that hiring a taxi might save money or cost more money. So a Friday at 11:30 in the evening is going to be tariff 3 every night, 10 o'clock to 6 AM. So taxi will be on tariff 3. 3.5 miles away is going to be up to 4, so it's going to be in that range. 3.5 miles is up to 4, so range between £17 and £27. So that's how much it will cost for the 4 of them, because it's one charge for a taxi, so it isn't £17 and £27 each, it's between that for the 4 of them. Now the tube tickets cost £4 each. Cost of tube will be £4 times 5 equals £20. So depending on the journey time, which is between 16 and 30 minutes, so if journey time is short, then the taxi will be cheaper. But if the taxi is long, so if the journey is long, tube will be cheaper. £20. Right, so marking that one then. You've got 1 mark for £8.40, 1 mark for 10:35 AM, and then here you've got 1 mark for getting the taxi between 17 and 27, 1 mark for getting the tube as being £20, and then 1 mark for saying the taxi could be cheaper with a short time, tube would be cheaper for a long time. Question 11, all the lines are symmetry. So if you look at this, basically every corner going through to the opposite corner is going to be a line of symmetry. So you've got 1 there, 1 there, and 1 there. So each one of those is a line of symmetry. Also, across the centres will also be a line of symmetry. So it's also symmetrical there, and you'll see it's symmetrical in half there, and it's symmetrical in half there. So it's a very symmetrical shape, the hexagon. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines of symmetry. Then for question 11b, which is rotational symmetry, remember you can ask for tracing paper. So trace the shape, and it needs to look exactly like that for order of 4 in 4 complete turns. So before that gets back there. So that one will rotate to there. So cross 2, up 1, down 2, across 1, down, up, across. There you go. And then rotate it one more time, and that will fall with the one that's there, and then one more time again will be that pattern there. We'll draw that one in. There you go. So that's got rotational symmetry of order 4. And the marks for that, 2 marks for that, 1 mark for 3 lines correct, as long as you haven't got any incorrect ones, 1 mark for all the others, and 1 mark for each of the ones that you've drawn there. Question 12, calculate 3/8 as a decimal. Okay, that is something that doesn't come up very often. In order to do that, you have to divide the bottom number into the top number. So you have to do a division, which is 8 into 3. 8 doesn't go into 3, so we do it into 8 into 3.0. So it's going to be 0 point, and then it doesn't go into 3, so that gets carried over. 8 into 30 goes 3 times. 3/8 are 24, so there's a remainder of 6. 8 into 60 goes 7 times. 7/8 are 56. Why have I written 5? 7/8 are 56, so there's a remainder of 4, and then 8 goes into 40 5 times. So 3/8 is 0.375. So that is a rare question. Paper to question 12. So 1 for the method of division and 1 for your answer. Game of chance. 4 balls numbered 2, 2, 3 and 4, 2, 2, 3 and 4, and 4 balls numbered 3, 4, 5 and 6. Both machines select 1 ball at random. The score for the game is the 2-digit number whose unit digit is from the number from machine A, and whose 10 digit is from the number from machine B. For example, if the number on A is 4 and the number of B is 3, the score is 34. Complete the table below. So the B gives you the 10s, so that's going to be 34, that's going to be 43, 52, 53, 62, 64. The player wins a prize by getting a score of 42 or less. After he plays the game once, what's the probability he wins a prize? So the number of possible outcomes there are 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and the number of them that is 42 or less, now this includes 42, and just check we haven't missed any out, is that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 16. One day, 400 people play this game once. Approximately how many would you expect to win a prize? So first of all, write down the sum, because that's going to earn you a method mark. Okay, so that's the chances of playing once and winning. So 400 people each get that chance. What you then have to do is work out how many times 400 divides up into 16. So whichever non-calculator method you're happy with doing. 16 into 4 doesn't go, so you do 16 into 40. 16 into 40 goes twice. 2 16s are 32. So it's got a remainder of 8. So now we're doing how many 16s in 180? Sorry, how many 16s in 80? Well, in 10 there'd be 160, so there's going to be half of that, because half of 160 is 80, so it's going to be 25. So you do 400 divided by 16 is 25, so you're going to do 6 lots, because you haven't got 1 16th, you've got 6 16ths, so that's going to be 6 lots of 25, which is 150. So we're expecting 150 people to win. And that is it. There's no profit or loss this year with this paper. So we've got 2 marks for finishing the paper, 2 marks for the 6 out of 16, 1 mark for writing down 6 over 16 times 400, and then 1 mark for the 150. So if you can't do the 400 divided by 16, the fact that you've written that down is going to earn you 1 mark. Okay, angle properties. Hopefully by now you recognize that those two things mean it's an isosceles triangle. If it's an isosceles triangle, that angle is 53 as well. So in order to work out x, you've got 53 plus 53 is 106. So x, you know, I hope, the angles inside a triangle add up to 180. So you can do 180, take away 106, which is 74 degrees. And then for part B, size of angle y, this is a quadrilateral. You should know that 4 angles inside there add up to 360. So if we add up what we've got, 78, 112, 67, 8 and 2 is 10, and 7 is 17, 6, 7, 8, 15, 1 and 1 is 2. So this angle is going to be 360, take away the total of the other angles that we know. You can't take 7 from 0, so you have to borrow. 7 from 10 is 3, 5 from 5 is 0, 2 from 1 is 3. So y is 103, sorry, the inside one is 103, so y is 180 because it's on a straight line. Take away 103, which is 77 degrees. So for that, we've got 1 mark for the taking the other 2 away from 180, and 1 mark for 74. And for here, you've got 1 mark and an answer for getting to 103, and then 1 more for getting down to 77. Question 15. Festival took place over 7 days in August. Each day, the number of people at the festival and the amount of money taken by the ice cream sellers were recorded. temperature below, the table below, sorry, shows the results. Right, so let's figure out what 1 square is. So we're going from 5,000 to 5,200. So we're going 200 in 10 little squares, which is 20. So each square in this direction is 20. In this direction, we're going 50 in 10. So we're going to do 50 in 10, which is 5. So each little square in that direction is 5. Okay, so 5,500, number of people is this axis. So 5,500 is there, and 280 up is going to be, well, halfway is going to be 275. So it's going to be 1 more square above that. 6,000 is going to be 400, which is there. 5,000, put a little mark above them so you know you plotted them. So 5,600 is 280. So that's another one at 280. 5,200 is 210. 510. 5,800 is 320. 305, 10, 15, 20. 6,400 is 420. And 6,200 is 410. So that's your scatter plot. Coming over to take a look at the next bit of the question. Right, on the type of correlation, well, that's positive. As the people increase, so does the amount of ice cream sold. So they're looking for positive. Draw by eye a line of best fit. So your line of best fit, remember, don't make it go through there. It's not a conversion graph. You just want it to be pretty much in the same direction as your slope. So that will do. Estimate the amount of money that may have been taken by ice cream sellers during one day that had 6,100 people. So mark this on your graph. 6,100 will be there. So you go up to your graph, arrows on it to show you going from 6,100, and you're reading off it £400. And explain why it is not possible to work out how much a typical ice cream costs at the festival. Explain why it's not possible how much a typical ice cream costs in the festival. Right, if you're looking at the data isn't telling you the number of people that bought ice creams. It's telling you how many people were at the festival. So you can't do a sum with those two figures. Okay, so it's not possible to work out because the data shows how many people were at the festival, not how many bought ice creams. Okay, so the marks for that, number 15, 2 marks for the plots. 1 mark for saying it's positive, 1 mark for your best fit, 1 mark for an answer between 390 and 410, so mine's bang in the middle, and an explanation mark basically saying that it doesn't show you how much each person spends on ice cream, but just how many are coming to the festival. Right, the next question, question 16. Don't often have to go back to look at the front, but if you remember that at the front there is a formula for the area of a trapezium. So it's a half times the sum of the two sides, A and B, times the height. So the area of the trapezium is a half bracket A plus B, 6 plus 10, close bracket H, 5. Now in algebra, again, if there's no sign between things, there's actually a multiply there that just doesn't appear. So what we do is we can add up the 6 and the 10, which is 16 times 5. Half of 16 is 8, so you've got 8 times 5, which is 40. So the area of the trapezium is 40 centimeters squared. Now the area of that is equal to the area of that triangle. Now you're not given the formula for area of a triangle on the front, you've got to know it, and it's half the base, which is x, times the right angled height, which is 10. So half of 10 is 5, so that's going to be 5x. Now they're telling you that these two are equal, so that means that this area must equal 40. Then you've got a nice simple little equation. You want to get the x on its own, it's joined on this side by a times 5. The opposite of timesing by 5 is dividing by 5. So x is going to be 8 centimeters. 1 mark for the method of finding the area of the trapezium, 1 mark for the answer, 1 mark for putting the area of the triangle equal to 40, 1 mark for getting the answer. Question 17. Pie chart shows the proportion of boys to girls in Class A and Class B. There are more pupils in B than A. There are 4 boys in A. There are 1.5 times as many girls in B than in A. How many boys are there in Class B? Okay, so the actual fact that they're telling us there is that this slice of the pie is 4. So the total number of kids in Class A is going to be 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, or the number of girls in Class A is 12. Number of girls in A is 12. There are 1.5 times as many girls in Class B than in Class A. So if I know there are 12 girls in Class A, number of girls in B would be 1.5 times that, which is 12 is 1 and a half is 6, 18. So I know there are 18 girls, which if you split that into thirds means you've got 9 and 9 and 9. 18 girls, 1/3, 2/3, that's another third. So number of boys in B will be 9. Right, marks for that. 1 mark for working out there are 12 girls in A. 1 mark for working out there are 18 girls in B. 1 mark for working out that means that that's split into thirds, and then 1 mark for determining what that means as far as the number of boys are concerned. Question 18, equation. Okay, first thing to deal with is the add 18. We've got to get rid of the add 18. We do that by doing the opposite of adding 18, which is subtracting 18. If I take the 18 off that side, I have to take it off that side as well. 26, 18 to take away 26 is 8. The x and the 2 are joined by divide. The opposite of dividing by 2 is multiplying by 2. If I multiply that side by 2, I've got to do the same there. So x is 16. Expand this, so you have to multiply whatever's outside by each bit that's inside. You do y times y squared, which is y cubed, y times 4 plus 4y. Marks for that. 1 mark for getting to x over 2 is 8. 1 mark for your answer. 1 mark for the y cubed. 1 mark for the 4y. Patterns made with black and white circles are shown below. So pattern 1 has got 1 black dot and 3 white. Pattern 2 has got 2 black and 5 white. Pattern 3, 3 black and 5 white. So as far as the black dots are concerned, there's the same number of black dots as the pattern number. So for pattern n, it will have n black circles. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, etc., etc., n, n. Then we have to look at the relationship for white circles. Now you can see, hopefully, the pattern 1 has got 2 plus 1. Pattern 2 has got 2, 4 plus 1. Pattern 3 has got 2, 4, 6 plus 1. So they're all having to add that 1 on, and then it's 2 times the pattern number. If you double that, you get 2, add the 1 on. Double that, you get 4, add the 1 on. So it's going to be 2n plus 1. 1 mark for the n, 1 mark for the 2n, 1 mark for the plus 1. Question 20. Parallel lines. Now, parallel lines are nasty enough without asking you to write them down in terms of letters, but that's what they've done. So if you remember when we did parallel lines, what I explained to you is when you have a line crossing parallel lines, everything that's happening at one part of the parallel line is identical to every other part where that line crosses it. So if that's angle B, that's angle B, and if that's angle B, so is that. So inside this triangle, I know that that's A and that's B, and I know that angles in a triangle add up to 180. So this is going to be 180 take away A plus B. Then I know that angles on a straight line also add up to 180. So C is going to be 180 take away 180 take away A plus B. 180 take away 180 is 0. So what you've got there is 180 take away 180 is nothing. And then you're taking away a negative. So this is a tricky thing on a foundation tier. That becomes plus A plus B. Negative, negative. Remember what you're doing is multiplying out a bracket. So you can do minus times 180 is negative 180. Minus times negative is a plus. So you end up with C is equal to A add B. That's a bit nasty. It's only worth 3 marks. 1 mark is for writing that, 1 mark is for the answer, and 1 mark is for getting one of those angles right up there. So if you see that B up there and then working from there, you get that mark. And the final question, another geometry question. Maggie has lots of tiles. All of her tiles are in the shape of regular polygons. So in your mind now, you should be thinking exterior angles, interior angles. All of her tiles are in the shape of regular polygons. The edges of all the tiles have the same length. Yeah. She places two 12-sided tiles to meet edge to edge. Maggie places a different shaped tile with these two. She finds that the 3 tiles tessellate. Now what tessellate means is that they fit together without any gaps. So if you've got a bathroom or a kitchen floor or something where you've got different shaped tiles and they all fit nicely together, that means that they tessellate. By calculation, find the number of sides of this 3rd tile. You must show all your working. Right. So it's a 12-sided polygon. Let's start with hopefully what we know. And we should know that the exterior angles all add up to 360. So the size of an exterior angle will be 360 divided by 12. 12 goes into 36 3 times, so it's 30 degrees. So what that means is if we think that we've got one of these shapes, then the exterior angle of that shape is going to be 30 degrees and the interior angle will be 150 degrees. We're going to fit another one of these 12-sided shapes underneath it, which means the exterior angle of that is 30, the interior angle is 50. So that means the total angle outside those two is 60. So what we've got that's telling us that the interior angle of the other shape of the 3rd tile is 60 degrees. And hopefully you can remember, and if you are getting the last question on the paper right, there's a possibility you will, that the shape which has got a regular shape which has got angles of 60 degrees is in fact an equilateral triangle. Okay, so it's the equilateral triangle has angles of 60 degrees. Okay, each side is the same length, each angle is 60 degrees. So to answer the question, the number of sides of this 3rd tile is 3. And that's a question. So you get 1 mark for working out the exterior angle. You get 1 mark showing how those fit together. You get 1 mark for working out that means the angle inside the other shape is 60, and 1 mark for spotting that means you've got an equilateral triangle which has 3 sides. So there's 2 nasty questions there, but as I've said to you many times, if you get most of the first half of the paper right, then you're not going to be relying on those last couple of questions which overlap with the higher tier paper, and aren't there for you to get a C. They're there for the higher tier students to get B's and A's. So that's last summer's.